Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your boy DC Gunner, and today I have a video request from Nuno MPT from Portugal, and he's my great new buddy and viewer from Portugal. And that's the thing I love about YouTube, is I get to meet all those great people which I normally would never got to know. So he wanted me to talk a bit more about collection and my plans for the future and what am I gonna do next. And one thing I wanna tell you is that I got my watch knowledge and watch days in early days from forums. So I'm a forum kid. I'm a kid from forums, and the guys on forums, on watch forums, are much different than the guys on YouTube, watch collectors on YouTube. I think one of the starters on YouTube watch branch is Archie Luxury, and Archie Luxury is definitely different from forum guys. And forum, everyone respects everyone, everybody, and collections are oriented. There are two ways collection can go, and one collection is that it's a pretty much Archie's philosophy is that you have a variable collection. That means that the pieces you have in your collection are all variable pieces that you are wearing every day, you're rotating it. But there's another aspect of a collection, and that's a aspect. There are folks, there are guys, and they are pretty much on forums who have amazing collection of vintage pieces, or pieces which are not so variable, and they don't wear them all. They have like 50 pieces, but those pieces are pieces of history. And from a historic standpoint, they have a collection of vintage watches which are not, they don't wear them. They maybe have some cool Amiga that they wear, and or Orient or something like that, and they have a different set of collection of all old pieces which are like a museum. And some of those guys are organizing like events and shows of those pieces from a historic standpoint. I know a guy in Belgrade who has a lovely space age collection, and those are watches, vintage LCD digital watches, like all those first Seiko Pulsar, and there are lots of watches, and also likes jump hours, and he has an amazing collection. And some of those pieces are pretty rare, and they fetch some high prices, like some Rolexes as well. And there are different genres, and on YouTube there's a lot of snobbery and stuff like that. But if you want to avoid that, I suggest, highly recommend you go on the forums. Every country probably has a forum, or some major countries in your region, in your speaking region, have a watch forums and other forums as well, EDC and knife and survival stuff. And I suggest checking out my medium. I've been on forums forever, and but I never was really that much active, and my medium is YouTube. So I want to transfer that stuff from forums on YouTube and have it a little different than usual Archie Luxury crap he has. I love him. He's very entertaining and that, but it's not all about that. And Nuno is my viewer for Portugal, and he's a perfect example of good guys who are everywhere in the world and who are there. Not everyone will collect high-end watches. Basically, most of the guys who are showing those watches, or either born rich, or they're in their 50s, 40s years, pretty much accomplished guys. And that doesn't mean I'm significantly younger than those guys, and I have aspirations to own high-end pieces, but I know that you have to live within your means, and I certainly don't want to spend and invest all my money in the watches. Even though I love watches more than anything else, I don't want to invest in that area right now. There are much more important stuff to deal with, and Nuna asked me about watches in general, what I'm gonna do with my collection, and I was thinking about it, and I wasn't really sure. I'm not really sure what's my next step. I know that I wanna go up. I wanna upgrade it, but I'm not really thoroughly sure where I wanna go. So I'm gonna go through my collection. Maybe you're watching it for the first time, and here I have Orient Ray, Orient Blu-ray, amazing, and these are all affordable watches. And behind it has a Seiko, Seiko 5 with a green dial on a chocolate leather strap, and this is amazing watch, and you cannot buy it. Even though it's cheap, you cannot go and buy it. So that's one thing collectors can appreciate, and you can maybe buy it, but you're gonna have to search and look for it to get it. Next to Orient Ray, I have a Seiko SKX 007, and these are just great everyday watches, wearable. And behind it I have a steel case, Pilot Aviator mechanical chronograph. It's a newer one model, 40mm case, bead blasted steel case, just a lovely watch, and always a pleasure, and always interesting watch to wear. Next to it I have Tissot, and this is just a big wingy flashy timepiece, and you can see it says it's a very nice, it's a quartz, ETA quartz, but it's a very solid quality watch. It has sapphire crystal and all that good stuff. So just a lovely watch to wear. It's very comfortable. Next to it, down here I have a Seiko 5, and next to here I have Omega. This is just wonderful Omega, and this here I have, this is a newest acquisition, and this is a Tissot from the same era and from same period, just like Omega, but this one is in steel case. So I'm not really sure when I'm gonna go over with my collections as it is, but I'm not really under a pressure to go anywhere with it, because I wanna enjoy what I have, and that's the biggest thing you can do for yourself, is that you can enjoy things you have while you have it. And I'm not pressuring myself to get something more, because I'm not really sure what can I get. Sure, I can get Steinhardts and Ocean Ones and stuff like that, but I'm not really 100% sure do I really want it. And that's the thing. I don't want to chase watches. I let the watches come to me, and that's the beauty of it. All of these watches, except maybe for Orient Ray and he came to me as well. All of these watches came to me in a form of a great deal, and I never really planned to get this particular watch or this Omega, but I found a great deal came to me, and that's my philosophy. I'm not really sure about this sell, because this is the last timepiece it came to me, and not really sure where this sits in my collection, because this is a part of a collection I'm not really wearing every day. Most of the days I wear these two here, but there's that different aspect, which is of collecting watches, which are, you don't have to have necessarily wearable pieces. You can collect pieces just for the sake of collecting, to have a collection, something significant, something older, something which can sit, and maybe occasionally you can wear them. Not every day, and you don't have to have a wearable collection. You can have something which has a historic meaning, and after 50 years or more, this will be arguably 100 years watch. So this one will too. So I don't know if that answers your question, but really I'm not sure where will I go with the collection. Like I said, I'm not under pressure to get anything. Sure, I can get a whole lot of Seikos, Orient. I never mentioned this, but before making videos, I had a great Orient M-Force with the power reserve, and it was only thing I didn't like about it was titanium, and it had a cyclop on a date magnifier. So eventually I solved that off, and not well after that I got Mako, but sure, you can get a whole lot of watches, but I don't get the chance to enjoy them. And for this vintage pieces here, if something comes up, one thing when I think about my next watch should be my next acquisition. Of course, I know where to go, but right now I don't have the cash for that. I would easily assemble a magnificent high-end collection, and just based on the knowledge I have acquired this year's watches, and I will definitely get some more high-end watches, but like I told you, not really in a position to do that right now. Or do I want to do that? Because you know, you gotta live with your means, and there are more important things in the life of a young man than to invest thousands of dollars in watches. Definitely later on, when I hit 40s or 50s, like most of these guys on YouTubers, they're all great guys. They all have their personalities, and great guys. Especially I like Archie. There are a lot of people don't like him and don't get him, but I like him. He's very entertaining, and you can learn a lot. So I'm not judging anyone as well. I don't want to be judged, but if you judge me, I don't care as well. But my thing is, I was considering to getting more of these vintage Jamigas, but that would be an interesting road for collecting. So that's the only thought after you asked me about that. I give it a thought, and I can get Steinhardts and OVMs. I like really Steinhardt OVM, and maybe if I could get a great deal on it, I will get it. But I already have enough of these pieces, and this Orient is a lovely watch. But I'm thinking about road or collecting vintage Jamigas, and that's a really interesting way to go, especially for me and for anyone who's on a budget and who lives in a bit poorer country. So I'm thinking about going with getting more vintage Jamigas. I say Omega, and you can thank James Bond for that, quote from his movie. But I'm pretty much sure Omega is a more appropriate word. It's a Greek letter after all. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I think it's a smart route from investment. You won't lose money. I cannot lose money on any of these watches because all of these watches came to me naturally. I never really was after them. I wanted to get them. Like you know, I'm a bit of a mini watch dealer, so I buy all those quartz pieces and pieces I don't really like. That way I can get to show them on YouTube, do some videos and hang out with you. And by the way, I earn a bit more cash from them, and lots of that money went into these watches. So this collection cost me practically nothing, just a bit of more effort and a bit of a love. But one thing right now is that I really like dive watches and I like dress watches. I'm not really a fan of pilots watches. I thought I was until I got more of them, and I would like to see a collection. I think that one of the collection I would like to have is a small collection of dive watches, which would be a wearable collection, and a small collection of vintage Omegas. Eventually Longines and a couple of Tissot's here and there, but predominantly Omegas. Although I would ideally like to have 5 or 6 vintage Omegas and 5 or 6 divers, but I'm not really sure. I like these guys over here so much, this watch, because it looks amazing, and it's the cheapest high-end watch you can get. And I know it's like under $100, but it still has some qualities which are amazing and looks nice. This pilot, if you like watches from horological standpoint, you cannot but not to appreciate mechanical chronograph. I'm sorry, but you cannot. And automatic chronograph, it has just another piece, which is rotor, and I like winding watches. I like this one too. So I cannot see selling these watches, or at least for small prices. But I think I could live with the collection of like 5 or 6 diving pieces, because I like the look, how they look next to each other, and that could be interesting collection. But at the same time, I don't want to hoard too many lower tier pieces. So that's an interesting dilemma. So I decided I'm gonna lean more towards vintage Omegas or Amigas, and let the watches come to me. I can right now get 2 Omegas, but I don't want to pay too much for them, and it's more interesting that way, and it's more about collecting. Collecting is all about that. It's not about taking shitload of money and getting shitload of watches so you have a collection. I think that's not for me, and I rather have watches come to me and not the other way around, just like the girl. So that would be it. That was my little collection talk. So thank you for asking, Nuno, and I hope this answers your question. And that would be it. Thank you for watching. I'm EDC Gunner, and give it a sub.